It's good to speak with you again, Christoph. And this topic today is supply chain and logistics, the current trends in China. Can you first provide us with an introduction?
Sure, Dustin, and I'm happy to speak with you again. My name is Christoph Szakowski. Since I graduated with MBA from Hamburg University, I've been involved in international management and consulting roles for the logistics and shipping industry. For 7 years plus, I was with DB Schenker in regional responsibilities for Eastern Europe and for Russia, for example. And for approximately 6 years now, I've been working as company's advisor and interim manager in several roles, which also brought me in the period of last 3 years or so closer and closer to the Asian market, in particular to Central Asia and most of all to China. Currently, we are speaking now, I'm on a business trip in Shanghai, learning more about the country and also giving some project advice for companies dealing with the new Silk Road logistics.
Well, what are some of the trends that are being discussed currently in the China logistics and intermodal market?
I had a good chance to be on the pulse of that what is happening in the intermodal market for Asia, and especially in China, as I visited in the last couple of days an exhibition called Intermodal Asia, where I was privileged to be amongst the speakers and experts. So, to your question, what are the trends? One of this is the idea of smart shipping. So this is all about strategies and technologies to encourage greater capability and higher profitability in the global container shipping supply chain. We need to keep in mind that the global container traffic in China amounted to about 200 million TEUs, which is, just to give an example, four times higher than for the USA and 7 times larger than for Singapore. Also, China is number one country in the logistics emerging market index. So, huge development potential if companies apply wisely such trends like automation, digitalization, platform collaboration, smart ports, big data in tracking, etc. Another trend which has been now discussed is environmental protection in China. So the questions about the policy on multimodal and standardization and improving land port operations together with cross-border intermodal service rules. There is also something I would call supply chain optimization by freight forwarders, so to optimize the whole network and not only their own profit. So this is a discussion which is currently in place, and I'm picking up this discussion more and more in China. Also, we observe that shipping companies strengthen their control of terminal resources, like COSCO shipping with Piraeus port in Greece. Also, another one I would like to mention is about ports investing in shipping companies. So you see a very dynamic market, and it goes in several constellations and directions. Last but not least, has been the key topic in the industry leaders strategy summit in Shanghai, is the current and future development in One Belt, One Road initiative and its impact on the future of the trade in Asia and internationally. So this this topic is something I'm really passionate about because I've been in the grateful position to develop business under One Belt, One Road, both as logistics service provider and a top executive there, and as a consultant and advisor on company strategies. Um, there are obviously different scenarios and strategies for companies depending on some original factors, I would say. So regarding the logistics company in discussion, so it's philosophy and the background. But in generally speaking, I would identify 5 types of core strategies. First one would be a network mega expansion. We could give here the example of a publicly known case of Carry Logistics, the China-based integrated logistics provider, with the CIS specialist Global Link. So the vision behind this is to clearly establish a global footprint by expanding the product portfolio and the geography. The second one would be something I call product-based cooperation with some agreements in the first period. A case recently published was here Nippon Express making an agreement with KTG, which is the Kazakhstan Freight Rail and Passenger Carrier. The short-term objective here is apparently to improve the rail service offering by giving one partner the access to the infrastructure of the other. What probably will follow will be, the targeting of some groups of clients, verticals they call, for example, either east or westbound. So targeting automotive suppliers, food industries, fashion, etc. The third scenario companies choose, and this is really interesting, is I would call innovation. So, for example, in rail-based solutions, there is a special where the company uses a special software for rates calculation and shipments tracking. And this model is combined with physical presence with offices along the New Silk Road. So that could be possibly a promising strategy for differentiation from another players. We also see, especially in Europe, for this moment, joint venture strategies, where companies of similar values, for example, they are all family-owned, of similar size and, for example, asset-heavy model, they come together. They want to offer something special in the One Belt, One Road. So they try to be a provider of, they call first-class end-to-end intermodal rail and logistics solutions, for example. Obviously, there is the common interest to focus on particular group of clients like cosmetics, pharma, packed goods, fashion, high-tech, automotive, time-critical goods, and so on. Also, last but not least, there are some rather small, flexible local freight forwarders which see their strengths in being flexible, near to the client, and serving the customers on some particular trade lanes. For example, Kazakhstan, Southeast Asia. So those are the strategies I would like to mention. Um, in general speaking, I would recommend the top management to do the following. Let's say the first step would be like demystify the legends, which are in the meantime often evolving in connection with the new Silk Road. So deal with the facts, deal with the trade lane statistics, be aware of your strengths and your assessment of your service, whether it is multimodal, railroad, or sea freight. The second step would be after you made a decision for trade corridor, because there are 6 trade corridors in the new Silk Road. So after you made a decision for this, go to the implementation. And now this is something, the third point is something more, let's say, nothing more and nothing less than a question of a smart management. Very often in the new Silk Road, it works well to start with a local team coordinated by an experienced expat manager who acts like a middleman to the company's head office, for example, and also as a person to train and develop the local staff. And last but not least, that is also something I underline often, be cautious and put your radar on cross-culture aspects. One belt, one road is a vast region, and you deal there normally with Western European culture, Eastern European culture, and the Chinese way of doing business. So be here wise to do the right thing with the hierarchy, with the decision making, with the communication style, and the way how to motivate people. So if you apply this framework, let's say, you might improve really your profit from the investments you do as a logistics company. Yes, that's really has been very interesting. Um, I mean, in all my time spent in China, I quickly try to absorb and learn, and I always see that there is a lot of, well, there is a lot of energy and entrepreneurial spirit in the local people, the people I meet. There is also large openness to learn by the decision makers, and I believe in consideration of that what I said earlier regarding the tendencies on this huge logistics market. This is a crucial aspect. That is a crucial aspect that the decision makers are rather open to learn. Last but not least, this is a growing market, and my personal observation is that global leaders need to be on this market. They need to be involved into the country specifics. I mean, for my part, I'm happy that I've had this occasion, and this is good for my personal horizon and competencies, at least. Thank you very much.